Shri Gurave Namaha. Paranchikhani Vyatrunat Swayambhuhu Tasmat Parang Pashyati Nantaratman Kashiddhirah Pratyagatmanamaikshat Aikshat Kashiddhirah Pratyagatmanamaikshat Avrutta Chakshurramrutattvamichan Together. Paranchikhani Vyadrunat Swayambhuhu Tasmat Parang Pashyati Nantaratman Kashiddhirah Pratyagatmanamaikshat Chakshurramrutattvamichan. To know a given object, we need to employ the means of knowledge. Like to see the form and the color, you need eyes. To see, to hear or know the sound, you need to operate ears. That means of knowledge should be proper and adequate. I may use eyes to see the form, but if I have numbers, it is inadequate means of knowledge to see. The available 5 means of knowledge, what we call as perception, etc. What we call as perception: eyes, ear, nose, skin and tongue. They can give you knowledge of something which is other than you. Therefore, they are called as karanani, means of knowledge. Antahkaranam, bahikaranam, external, internal. These are called bahikaranani. So they can know something other than I. You can never see, never hear, nor smell I through eyes, ears, etc. 2 reasons. It is a self because of which you operate them. Can you come this side? It is a self because of which they gain the necessary capacity to reveal a given object. Eyes are there as called as eyes to reveal the form and color, provided they are backed by consciousness. Without consciousness, they cannot. That means it is the ultimate subject, what is mentioned in Kathopnishad, Shrotrasya Shrotram Manaso Manoyat Vachoha Vacham Sau Pranasya Prana Chakshusas Chakshu ityadi. Secondly, the self to be known is free from any attributes. Eyes can reveal only the form, color. The consciousness is without any form and without any color. Ears can reveal only the sound. Consciousness is free from any sound. As they call it, nirgunam. No attributes. Since it is devoid of all kinds of attributes, the senses of perception can never reveal it. Then what can reveal The other means of knowledge is inference. Inference is a knowledge, is a complete knowledge based on certain factual data. As they call it, when what you see and what you conclude has invariable relationship, invariable concomitance, avina bhava sambandha. Traditional example is, you see a smoke in the mountain. Then you conclude that there is a fire. That there is a fire is not presumption, but it is irrefutable knowledge. Why? Because whenever there is a smoke, there has to be fire. Yatra yatra dhumaha, tatra tatra vannihi. Whenever there is smoke, there is fire. Vice versa, not true. Whenever there is fire, there is smoke is not true. Your kitchen gas, the fire is there, but there is no smoke. This is modern discovery. You cannot have smoke in all kinds of fires. So, you can say there is a fire in the mountain, having seen the snow. But that knowledge, inferential knowledge, also depends upon perception. You should see the smoke. Then there are few other means of knowledge, traditionally accepted 6 means of knowledge, arthapatti, ityadi. But all of them are based on what? Perception. So, Moola Pramanam, the fundamental means of knowledge is perception. Now, that you cannot know through perception certainly cannot be known through any other means of knowledge. Arthapatti, upapattihi, anupapattihi and shabda. Through words also you know. But here, in a typical situation where what you want to know is yourself, is available to you, then only means of knowledge is words. Words becomes means of knowledge to reveal the self which is being experienced, quote unquote, which is known, quote unquote, but still not known. As I said in the morning, known as is, but not known as what it is. Samanyataya gnata. You know there is something self. But swarupataya na gnata. You don't know what is its nature. Aham asmi janam. Kintu koham asmi, who am I? Viparita janam. Aham dukhi iti janam. I know I am, but I know I am as a dukhi I, limited I, dissatisfied I, etc. There is a traditional example we give, that is Tvam Dashmosi, that good old story. 10 boys from the village went for picnic in the forest. The eldest among them was given responsibility to take care of the rest of the 9 and bring them back. They were all young guys, teenage or even younger than teenage, 2 or 3 of them. They went, in between they had to cross a river. Village boys swam and crossed it, went there in the forest and played whole day, and the evening were to return. Then this fellow remembered, I have to take care of rest. Are they all there? He counted. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And they concluded the 10th is lost. Dashamo nashtaha. Then went on searching outside where they had played, trees, etc. He was in pain, comes across some Mahatma, the story says. And that wise man asked them, hey boys, what's the problem? You all seem to be sad, little pained. What's the problem? Then this fellow said, Dashamo nashtaha. 10th one is lost amongst us. Hearing that, this is relevant to me, this portion of the story. Hearing that Mahatma asked, in those days, people in India were known by Guru, not by parents. Today we write our father's name, first name and father's name. He says, Kasya Shishyaha you, whose disciples you are? Then they had said, Paramananda Guroho Shishya. But not Paramatmana. Paramananda. My Shishyas are very intelligent. Paramananda Shishyaha. Then that Guru asked the leader to line up the rest, and he said, count. He counted. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Whom are you searching? 10th one. Then it was said, Tvam Dashmos. You are the 10th. That is Tat Tvamasi. You are that. Means what? What you are searching is you. What you are looking for is you. That is a way the teacher unfolds through words. In other words, teacher has to build a context. Make them stand there. Make him count 9 and then tell. Had he told, you are the 10th, how can I be 10th? Immediately there would have been a resistance. Now, my point is this. Not only teacher has to build context, this fellow should be ready to understand. Any means of knowledge, please remember this, any means of knowledge reveals the object to be known immediately. Moment you operate, at the very moment you know, Gnanam is always immediate. There is no vyavadhana, intermediary time lapse or anything required. When I open the eyes, I see this is the color, full stop. I see the trees. Ears are open, you hear the words. Any means of knowledge. You touch this, you know it. That's how the blind people can conduct themselves. They immediately know. Knowledge is always immediate. This fact should be understood by so-called Vedanta teachers. When they don't see that immediacy, then they say, oh, it is indirect knowledge and you have to meditate. It is like you go to ophthalmologist, getting your eyes checked. And they invariably ask you to read the line. First and second line you can read. And invariably they put letters as though it is a Russian name or Czechoslovakian name, P, Q, W, something like that. So you are confused, it is P or Q. And suppose that ophthalmologist tells you, now meditate, you will realize. If you say eyes are the means of knowledge, nothing else can give you knowledge except eyes. The problem is, as I said, they don't understand. Immediately you should be able to see it. What does it mean? Your numbers are not proper. Then he takes those out, removable glasses, and puts the new one. And you say, it is Q. It is P or it is Q. How come? Immediate. Understand? So when you don't understand the self, even when taught by the teacher, that doesn't mean you have to do something else to, or meditate, or do seva, or do yatra or something. Only way out is keep listening. Problem is not with the means of knowledge. Problem is with you where the knowledge is to take place. Therefore, emotional maturity and cognitive maturity is necessary. Very much necessary. In absence of that necessary preparedness, you can't see the truth. Otherwise, even while teaching only, Shravana Samaye Eva, things should be seen. It should be understood. And sometimes it does happen. I understood today. But you can't hold it. Moment the class is over, again things are lost. That is because some mananam and nididhyasanam is necessary. Therefore, Shravanam is a primary means, but then more often than not, this is also necessary, called manana and nididhyasana. In mananam and nididhyasanam, no new knowledge takes place. Whatever you know becomes free from doubts and errors. Habitual errors of taking myself to be physio-psycho-complex, that gets addressed by nididhyasana. That's why sukshmaya sukshma drashtivi. The mind is not that subtle enough. It may pose doubt, or somebody's doubt, it may create a doubt. Therefore, manan and nididhyasana becomes necessary, but no new knowledge takes place in Shravanam, in Mananam or Nididhyasana. Therefore, there is a Vakya. Mandukyam eva alam mumukshunam moksha siddhai. Mandukya Upanishad is enough to gain moksha. But if it doesn't work with you, ekadasham patha, then the Ishakena Kathopnishad Mandaka Mandu Gayatri Tetri Chandaka Pradharnakam Sveta Chetramiti. If 11 doesn't work for you, 32. If 32 doesn't work, 108. If that also doesn't work, repeat. No way out. In the Gita, if you look at it, the teaching is over in the very second chapter. But he couldn't see the things through. There were doubts. There were misconceptions. So there is repetition. Even in the second chapter itself, Shankaracharya writes in the Bhashya, Kinchit Shabdataha Punaruktam, Kinchit Arthataha api Punaruktam. The same words are repeated and something is repeated in terms of meaning. Why? Durvigneyatvacha vastunaha. The thing to be known is so subtle. It calls for that preparedness. And if it is not there, repetition is not dosha for the teacher. He has to repeat. It is not something that is improper. It has to be done. Like I'll tell you these 2-3 famous verses, every Indian generally know. Na jayate mriyate va. Correct? Just there is the first line. Okay? What is the third and fourth? Najayate mriyate va kadachit nayam bhutva bhavita va na bhuya. Then third line. Ajo najayate najo. You see? न मृते नित्य जो नित्य शाश्वतो यम पुराण न हन्यते सेम थिंग अदर वर्ड्स नैनम छिन्दन्ति शस्त्राणि नैनम दहति पावकः न चैनम क्लेदयन्त्यापः न शोषयति मारुतः अच्छेद्योयमदाह्योयम अच्छेद्य नैनम छिन्दन्ति शस्त्राणि नच्छेद्य नैनम दहति पावकः अदाह्यो. There is a repetition. And that goes on. The Brahma Vidya, or the most important message of Gita, that you are not a karta bhokta. As I said in the morning, kartrutva bhoktrutvam alone is ahankar, doership, enjoyership. You are not. Look at every chapter. Second chapter, this verse, hanta chen manyate hantum hataschen manyate hatam ubhautau na vijaya. So the one who thinks I am killing doesn't know. That means you are not a killer. In the second chapter. Third chapter, prakrute kriyamanani guneh karmani sarvashah ahankara vimudhatma kartahamiti तत्ववित्तु महाबाहो गुणकर्म विभागयोः गुणागुणेषु वर्तन्ते इति मत्वा. Fifth chapter, third, fourth chapter. Karmanya karma yav pashet akarmani cha karma. Fifth chapter. Navadvare pure dehi naiva kurvan nakar. Pashyan shunvan sushan naiva kinchit karomiti. All chapters. There is a repetition to make the knowledge clear, to remove those habitual error in terms of Dhyatma Buddhi, taking myself to be physio-psycho-complex. Nididhyasana becomes necessary. But as I said, knowledge is always immediate. Shravana samaya eva, it becomes clear. If not, that is preparedness. And to gain that necessary preparedness, that is called obstacles. Pratibandhakani, to inform us what are the obstacles and how to handle those obstacles. This chapter has begun and this verse is there. Paranchi khani vyatrunat swayambhu. Paranchi means, it's a plural because indriya, it's an adjective. The khani means indriyani. Okay? Khani kham means akasha. Akasha lakshita. But it is implied by khani means indriyani. Paranchi. Paranchi means parak anchati gacchati. They go outside. They move outside. Also, please note here, whenever in Shastra someone says introvert and extrovert, inner and external, there is no physical inner. Okay? Not physical like this. I am inside the room. The shoes are outside the room. There is a real wall over there. Inner and outer either is in a sense of grossness and subtleness or pervasiveness, but not really inner outer. What is inside is outside. What is outside is inside. So, going outside, meaning thereby moving for something which is other than me. their area of, of knowledge is what? Something other than. All sense organ can give you knowledge of something which is available for objectification. They can give you knowledge of something which is not you. That's it. It cannot give you knowledge about yourself because you are the very subject of the sense organs. Okay. Who created like this? Paranchikhani. Then it says, Swayambhuhu. Swayam Bhavati. Who comes into being by himself. That means what? He is uncaused. He is not caused, he or she, whatever it is not brought into being through parents, some cause. That is uncaused. That means that is the cause of everything. It is uncaused in sense Bhagavan is not caused by law of karma like what we are. All jivas are caused to be born in a given yoni because of their own karmas. And through they need secondary means as parents to be born. He doesn't need. And that which is unborn either can be totally non-existent or can be existence per se. Either it can be satyam or tucham. Avandhyaputraha, son of a barren woman, is never born. It is not there at all. Where is the question of being born? It is like saying selfless politician. It is uncaused. Nowadays it is uncaused, To say intelligent Trump, it is something self-contradictory. Like saying intelligent Rahul Gandhi in India. It is uncaused. It is there. So Nityaha. This is Nityaha. Swatantraha. Sarvam Swayam Tantre. Everything in its Vasham. That is what Bhagavan says in the 4th chapter. Ajop, 2 verses are there. Bahuni me vyatitani janmani tava charge. So many births, yours and mine, have taken place. Tani aham veda sarvani. I know all. Natvam, you don't know. Okay, what's a big difference? It's okay, you know something more than me. Next line. Ajopi sannavyatma bhutanam ishvaropi prakrutim swamadhisthaya sambhavami atmamaya. I am unborn, ajahapi, avyatma, imperishable, and bhutanam ishvara. I am the ruler of everything. But with this Maya Shakti, I take as though birth, as though being ruled and controlled even by my mother. Natural forces. This is uncaused. That Swayambhu means Ishvara. In one word, what? Ishvara has created sense organs as what? Extrovert. And then there is word Paranchikhani Vetrunat Swayambhuhu. Swayambhuhu Vetrunat. He has destroyed or killed all the beings. Why? Paranchikhani Vetrunat Swayambhuhu Tasmat Parang Pashyati Nantaratman. The movement of sense organs are always towards something other than me. That means all the jivas stand devoid of possibility of looking at oneself. Parang Pashyati. As I said, this Maya, you know, every child, look at this Maya, every child across the globe, maybe Japanese or Indian or Australian or American or African or South American, whatever, no mother tells, no father or mother tells baby, you want to be happy? Play with the toys. No one tells. Does anyone tell? No. You want to be happy? Eat chocolates. This is Maya. Every child goes after toys, goes after some objects, whatever is samskara, vasanas are there, and then they go after it. So right from childhood, fullness or happiness is sought in the world outside me. And when you look for happiness somewhere outside me, that means there is a conclusion that I don't have it. Obviously. Otherwise, why should you search for it? Suppose this fellow searching in one room something. That means what? He or she has concluded that I have not lost in the other room. Which may be the case, but there is a conclusion, it is here only, not there. So, the search for fullness, search for happiness, right from the birth is in the world outside. Restructuring my possessions, restructuring my relationships, restructuring my situation, I think I'll be happy. That means whole life is becoming life, trying to become something. That itself is destruction. Bhagavan has destroyed because individual after some time or after some growth is always busy in thinking of Vishayas for fullness. Mind gets so preoccupied. Bhagavan has created. There is a fire, but somebody has poured oil also. What is that oil? Modern marketing. They show you all objects in such a way. You know what is the bottom line of all advertisements? To create or to bring out bhokta out of you, to make you feel that you will be happy if you have this. You will be content if you have this. You will be full if you have this, and otherwise you are not. They create this sense. That is what Ishvara has as though destroyed. Not killed physically. It is like saying the student is in the 12th grade and the parents give him iPhone 15 Pro with 5G Wi-Fi and new iPad and no control. He will be watching that only. Not studying. So that senses being outside extrovert, darshana, smarana, ityadi, anubhava. Mind is preoccupied only in that. There is no space for the self-inquiry even. Forget about self-knowledge. That is ashuddhi. Antakarana shuddhi means to create space. Emotional maturity or cognitive maturity is to create space inside. Mind is so busy, so much engaged. If you see these typical youngsters, I have this and I will have that and I should have this. They are all the time thinking and busy only those things. That is why it is called destroyed. There is a beautiful verse in Vivek Chudamani. He says these 5 animals, Kuranga, Matanga, Patanga, Meena, Brunga Meena, Pancha Panchattva Mapu. These animals gained Panchattvam and they died. They lose their life only because of one sense organ. They say this deer is very fast in running. When we want to catch deer, they play music. Beautiful music. His sense, Shravanendriya, is very powerful and he likes. This bee, tongue is powerful. The fragrance, smell is powerful. So it gets into lotus for honey. And because of the fragrance cannot come out, at the evening time lotus gets closed and the bee which can pierce the wood dies inside. Because of smell. The fish, the tongue is most powerful. He just sees a bait. On the bait there is a piece of meat and goes to eat. The bait is like that. Eats and then it gets caught. Elephant is Sparshendriya is powerful. They want to catch elephant, they create a wooden elephant, colored one. And besides, there is a conical, like this conical pit, covered with light woods, etc. An elephant falls with the legs like this. It doesn't know how to come out. They catch the elephant. Elephant loses life, loses freedom. For what? Sense of touch. He says all these 5 animals lose their life by Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa and Gandha. What to talk of human being who has all the 5 prominent. And therefore he is busy all the time. Even though Bhagavan has given us buddhi, which they don't have. But then that is called distraction. The means special power to gain freedom, to gain moksha is given to us. Potential means. But never it is utilized. Naraha panchatvam ki panchehi panchah kim. Manushya is all the 5 powerful and therefore what to talk of it? Therefore it says, tasmat, 2 things. Having made the sense organ external, Bhagavan has finished this human being. And secondly, tasmat parang pashyati. Therefore he always sees outside. In one word, happiness is sought in other than me. You seek happiness, you seek fullness. Where? In something which is not. Tasmat parang pashyati na antar atman. They don't see that. That means there is no possibility of freedom, no moksha. If it is no moksha, then why Upanishad? If it is no moksha, then why Shastra? That is not possible at all. Like Buddha, sarvam dukkham. If it is everything is dukkham, why samsara? He says, kasyid dhirah pratyagatmanam aikshat. Kasyid dhiraha. Dhiraha means viraktaha. Dhira means a person who has space here. The person who is grown up cognitively and emotionally, a person who has a vairagya, who understands that there is no connection between the two, what I want and what I am doing. I have been doing, pursuing to be happy, and nothing can make me happy. That clarity one who has is called dhiraha, kashchit dhiraha. This becomes what? Avrutta chakshuhu. Means he becomes introvert. He doesn't work to restructure the world. He is busy in restructuring himself or herself. Restructuring my values, restructuring my attitudes, restructuring my ideal self, restructuring my goal, etc. That is called Avrutta Chakshu. In our Shastric language, one who is living a life of dharma, dharmatma, is Avrutta Chakshu. And later on, committed, then he becomes mumukshu. Even dharmatma also can be called as Avrutta Chakshu. Here word dharma doesn't mean religion, which people translate. Dharma means person who is committed to life of duty, kartavyata. Whatever the duty or whatever contributory actions, whatever enjoined actions by Shastras to be done, and Vyavaharika, he or she is committed to do. The first step of becoming introvert is I commit myself to life of dharma. People compromise their duties. People cut corners because of the pressure of what? Artha and kama. If there is a tremendous need for artha kama, person will compromise duty. Person will compromise values. He or she will pursue artha kama through improper means also. Ends are also improper, and sometimes the means are also improper. Why? Because he or she has a pressure of achieving artha and kama. Living a life of dharma is a process of becoming introvert. Little additional note here. Our Hindu way of life and Hindu view of life is to live a life of dharma. Marriage is to become introvert, not to become extrovert. Because the husband and wife are called what? Sahadharmachari, Sahadharmacharini. Committed to life of dharma. Married, though people say only grihasthas have freedom. It is true in a way, but then life of grihastha is a life of dharma. And that person, when he or she lives a life of dharma, that becomes ready. He becomes, naturally withdrawn from pursuit of arthakama. In other words, one look at the other way around. Who has a pressure for arthakama, always pursuing for arthakama, has what's the problem? He or she has self-dissatisfaction, self-discontentment. The life of dharma leads to relative self-contentment. relative self-satisfaction. These guys who are after money and power and position, they are so dissatisfied. The same person, for whatever reason, takes a pause and thinks of doing something else. That means some relative contentment is there. Relative satisfaction is there. So, our introvert person doesn't mean only meditating for so many hours and that's introvert. Doesn't mean he gives up pleasures or involvement into the world. Introvert means one who is self-satisfied, self-content, relative, not totally. It's okay. I'm happy in being what I am. I want more, but I also like this. It is happy for what it is. Then whatever am I or whatever I have, if there is a tremendous discontentment, fellow cannot sit quiet. That will be external, always finding new avenues, different means to earn money and to gain new sense objects, to be happy. That's what, to feel satisfied, to feel content. So, avrutta chakshuhu is a one who is relatively self-satisfied, relatively self-content, who has not the one who has withdrawn himself out of will. No, I will not do this. Like even when you start doing fasting, Thursday or Monday or whatever, in the beginning you are becoming avrutta chakshu, planning for what to eat, where to eat. And you say, no, it's out of will. But if you do fasting for a year or so, after 1 year you're happy. No, I don't want this, I'm not hungry. If somebody force you, the farali hai, these are certain exceptions. Even then the fellow says, no, I don't want it. Gujaratis have unique, we are very innovative. There are dosas available, and recently the Swaminarayan told me pizzas available. Ekadashi pizzas, special. If you want the pizza taste, why you do fasting? And then, innovative, special bhajiyas, pakodas are also available, Ekadashi pakoda, Ekadashi samosa, Ekadashi, all these are available. That's not introvertedness, satisfied. Avrutta chakshuhu. Then what happens? Amrutatvam icchanna. Amrutatvam icchanna. Desirous of amrutatva. Amrutatva means two meanings. Amruta means nectar. And amruta means not to, na amruta iti, not to die. When the fellow is committed to discover the self which is free from birth and death. Na jayate, na mriyate. Icchan. Tad atmanam icchan. Is desire of that. Or amruta nectar means happiness. The one who is committed to happiness, that is the self. Committed to discover oneself. Amrutatvam icchan. He or she is desirous. That not only becomes introvert, but introvertedness is for gaining Atma. Swami would very nicely say, the fellow was very restless, very go-getter as they call it, go-getter, go for kill. Was very busy. Now discovered that enough, no more go-getter. So what are you doing? I'm just sitting. So Swamiji would say, fellow was formerly agitated idiot. Now quiet idiot, but idiot all the way. Agitated idiot and quiet idiot. To just be quiet is not the goal. You can still continue to be ignorant. Idiot means ignorant. Swamiji's translation. You can continue to be ignorant about yourself. There is positive desire to pursue the self, not simply vegetative life. There is not the life which you are not doing anything and just quietly sitting. But even if you sit quiet, self-ignorance doesn't go. One has to work for it. One has to go to a teacher. We'll see in this, it will come in the later part. And one has to study Shastra and discover oneself. Amrutattva Vichanna. What happens then? Pratyagatmanam aikshat. He or she sees the self. He or she knows the self. He or she discovers the self that is his or her nature. When it starts? When you become introvert. Introvert means less talking and less walking and not, that is introvert. That is relatively inner freedom. Inner freedom in terms of no inner pressure to achieve something, to gain something, to do away with something. Pravrutti and nivrutti both. I have to get away. That kind of pressure is not there. You enjoy relative self-satisfaction. We'll see the next mantra tomorrow. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.